Welcome to the eNETEmployer how-to video series. This lesson will discuss how to work with provincial health settings in your payroll. This includes setting the rates for your region and assigning the appropriate earnings and benefits. Though each province and territory has their own health insurance plan with varying rules, not all provinces require employer premiums. Therefore, if you are unsure of the settings required for your business, we suggest that you refer to legislation that applies to your area. For the purposes of this video, we will refer to all provincially funded health plans as Provincial Health, as opposed to their individual names and acronyms, such as EHT, MSP, Ontario Health Premium, and so on. And take note, provincial health settings must always be defined first in eNETEmployer, before any employees are added to the payroll. So if your region requires provincial health premiums and you have the required rates on hand, please proceed with this video to learn how to apply the rates and settings to your payroll. Let's begin by logging into the program and choosing the payroll service. Once the program appears, ensure that you're on the Payroll tab and then choose the Current Payroll Health command. This opens the health screen that allows us to enter our company's provincial and territorial provincial health rates and settings. As each payroll is calculated, the settings in the screen will be used to calculate the required premium amounts that your business must remit to your provincial health office. To begin defining our settings, we must first choose a province from the drop-down list beside the New button. And then we can select the New button to insert a health row into the table. When a new row is added, it appears in edit mode so that we can begin editing the various cells. Note, for the purposes of our demo, we will assume that our payroll has surpassed our province's exemption amount for the year. Until this exemption amount is reached, you do not have to calculate your provincial health premiums. Since our payroll will reach this amount during this pay period, we'll leave the Enable cell activated, as shown by the checkbox. If you're setting up your provincial health item at the start of a new payroll year, you may complete the required fields in the screen as needed, but remove the check from the Enable box until your payroll surpasses the exemption amount for your province. Move to the rate cell and specify the rate at which the current provincial health item will be charged. In our demo, health premiums are calculated at 2.15% of the selected employee earnings and benefits. Again, these percentages will vary and are determined by each participating province. To specify the earnings on which the premiums will be based, click on the down arrow in the earnings cell. This displays a drop-down menu of available earnings to which the premiums can be applied. For our demo lesson, we will apply the typical set of earnings that are applicable to both hourly and salary-based employees. In this case, all of the earnings apply. So instead of placing a check in each box separately, simply place a check in the box at the top of the menu. This checks off all of the earnings in the list, and once we've made our selections, we'll choose the X to close the menu. Now let's move on to the employee benefits portion. Click on the down arrow in the benefits cell to display the drop-down menu of available items. As with the previous earnings cell, each of the benefit items in our sample payroll will be applicable and therefore must have a check in its corresponding box. And once again, when our selections are complete, we will choose the X to close the menu. By the way, if you come across an item or term in the program and you need a detailed explanation for it, you can open the online help at any time by pressing the F1 key on your keyboard, or by choosing the help icon, which is the question mark located at the top of every table. The online help system describes each column and page in detail, and all descriptions are provided in alphabetical order to make it easier to locate the item for which you are looking. The next 5 columns, registration number, EFT, EFT account, remit frequency, and reference ID, are optional because transmitting provincial health premiums via EFT is slated for a future release and is not yet active in the software. This feature is pending the various provincial governments' legislation and technical specifications. Once this method becomes available, you will be able to create a file that you can use to transmit your payments electronically. Again, these fields are optional and you may enter the information or leave them blank. With the settings completed for the row, we can now choose the Save icon. That's the orange check mark located at the left side of the row. And that completes the Provincial Health settings for the payroll. As mentioned at the start of this lesson, Provincial Health settings, along with all of the other settings under the Current Payroll menu, must be typically completed first before any subsequent employees are added to the payroll. This order is important because if you have already added employees, calculated and then closed your payroll without first having created the Provincial Health settings, you will need to unclose the payroll and add these settings to achieve the correct health premium amounts. Please view our how-to video entitled Unclosing a Payroll for more information on that feature. Now let's review the Pay Register report that will show us the calculated Provincial Health amounts and how much we need to remit to our Provincial Health office. Since our demo payroll is brand new and contains no actual payroll calculations, let's open a sample payroll that has some actual Provincial Health data. With our payroll loaded, we will choose the Payroll Processing Reports command. When the report screen appears, we'll choose the Payroll Register option from the drop-down list beside the New button, and then select the New button to insert the report row into the table. By default, this report uses the data from the most recently closed payroll, as indicated by the pay run shown in the end column. With the correct pay sequence in place, we'll choose the Generate Report button. Depending on your browser settings, the resulting PDF file will either be stored in your Downloads folder, or you may be presented with a dialog box that will prompt you where to save the file. For our demo, I can click directly on the PDF button that has appeared at the bottom of my browser. When the file opens, we can review the health benefit data for each of the employees for the pay period. And if we scroll to the second page of the report, we will see the total health premiums that are due for the period. And that completes the video on adding provincial health premiums to your eNETEmployer payroll. We hope you found the lesson useful, and as always, if you need a detailed explanation for any program item or function, press F1 on your keyboard to access the online help system at any time. Thank you for watching, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more how-to videos.